The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the column was called Monroe Drive. And after my 50-year career, that's the only thing people remember me for, which is fine unless they blame me for that mess down there. And I said, it's not my fault. I advocated good things like better signs, increased trucker enforcement, and running a passenger train between Athens and Atlanta. And then I found out the state transportation motto was, who needs a train if you got a Ford F-150? During the 1996 Olympics, I wrote a column about traffic every day, and it got stressful, and I started getting sick. So after the games, I went to a doctor, and he said, oh, you now have an incurable autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis. Bleeding ulcers will line your colon, and you'll go to the bathroom a lot. We treat with steroids as a prescription for prednisone. The first side effect of prednisone that I noticed was that it activated my bad idea gland. And I left the Journal-Constitution to become a downwardly mobile professional or dumpy. I would have a good job from time to time, but invariably I would get too sick to work, or I'd go into a steroid rage and quit in a huff. After 10 years, I was out of money and out of medical insurance, so I landed a job as a New York City teaching fellow and moved to Brooklyn to teach special ed in middle school down near Coney Island. We had an interesting student body. We had kids from 50 different countries and at least 3 different planets. I lasted for 4 years in that job and got too sick to work, and I got a call from a friend in Atlanta who said she'd become a life coach and could help me finish a novel I've been working on for 20 years. She had great ideas about overcoming writer's block, and then she died. My life coach died. I went to her funeral when I was moving from Brooklyn to Milledgeville, from one madhouse to another, to teach media writing at Georgia College and State University. I loved the college and I loved the town, but in Milledgeville I got sicker than I'd ever been in my life. On top of the colitis, I got a hospital infection called Clostridium difficile, C. diff, which threw me into septic shock, which means that all systems are shutting down and you fixing to die. They took me by ambulance from Milledgeville to Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta, where they saved my life with about an hour to spare. They put so many steroids and antibiotics into my neck, they said I might get a blood clot. So, after I got out of Piedmont for the treatment for sepsis, I went back in with the blood clot and got back to Milledgeville, and I was in post-sepsis syndrome, couldn't teach anymore, so I decided to move back to Athens. I was so excited because my daughter's family is Monroe, and I have 2 grandchildren in Monroe, so I love Athens. There's so much to do here. We're a wonderful college town, and a student came up from Milledgeville to help me move some furniture into my new rented townhouse, and I broke my back. Turns out I had steroid-induced osteoporosis. I couldn't climb the stairs of my new townhouse, so I was living in a lazy boy, drooling, crying, and I was so depressed. But then my bad idea gland clicked in again, and I thought, Doug, here's the solution. Go to the Amazon jungle and work with a shaman who can dispense the juice of this mystical jungle vine ayahuasca, which has both healing and psychedelic properties. I call it hippie kudzu. I found a group of sick people headed to Peru with an American doctor, and I joined up and flew from Atlanta to Lima to Tarapoto on the edge of the jungle. We took a jeep up to an eco-village in the Amazon cloud forest and met the shaman. He said our diet, well, he spoke in Shikobo, that was translated to Spanish, then to English. And he said our diet for the next 5 weeks would not include salt, sugar, or caffeine. I'm a southerner, I put salt on everything. We had these long ceremonies at night where the shamans would sing and blow jungle tobacco smoke on us, and they were also diagnosing us. I found that out when the head shaman called me in and he said, Shikobo to Spanish to English, that I was too sick to take ayahuasca. And I said, I wish that God you'd have told me that before I spent $5,000 to come down here. In my head I said that because shamans can cast spells and cross borders. I started getting sicker and sicker, and I went to the American doctor, and I said, I'm getting sicker. I want to go home. She said, trust the shaman. So I went to the shaman and said, I'm getting much sicker. And he said, Shipabo, Spanish to English, what happened? And I said, what do you mean, what happened? You the damn shaman. In my head, I said that. 5 weeks, I lost 25 pounds the hard way. Finally got down to Tarapoto, to Lima, to Atlanta. I passed out on the plane, and when we landed, they took me to Piedmont Hospital. They said I had E. coli, and Amazon liverfish bacteria, dehydration, and sodium deficiency, which is proof that lack of salt is a medical emergency. I finally made it back to Athens, found a one-story place to live, and I've been going to doctors, and one of them, the nurse came out, shaking my medical record, and she said, I have one question for you, sir. Why are you alive? And I said, yeah, I've been thinking about that. And I think I'm alive to be a good grandfather and also to keep writing a little bit. And in fact, I finished that novel I've been working on and sent it to a New York agent who had contacted me when I was at Atlanta Magazine. His reader got back to me promptly. She didn't send me a rejection letter. It was more like a vomit emoji. She hated everything about it, but especially, she said, this novel has too many crazy characters. And I said, lady, you have no idea. In my head, I said that because agents can cast spells across borders.